It has been like a month since I made a promise. And because I am stubborn, all promises made must be kept. Welcome to the extras video of Bendy and the Ink Machine. Now, before we actually hop into this, I want to point out something. If I were to cover every secret in Bendy and the Ink Machine, this would be like a 7-part series. Because there's that much secrets to behold. So we are just going to be taking a look at the big things and the stuff that we outright missed. Outside of that, there is one item that I will be talking about at the end of the video. Also, the reason why this video took so long has a lot to do with the person that's about to say hi.
No. I'm back, boys.
Yep, he's back. I believe legitimately he's had one video since his last appearance on my channel.
Yep.
And that was like 3 weeks ago. So yeah, today me and my buddy Lloyd are going to be taking a look at a couple of the big stuff. We have been dreading this because it means that we're going to be going back into Chapter 3 because almost everything that we missed in my first Let's Play was in Chapter 3. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at something that you unlock after beating the game. This is my primary save file. If you go to Chapter Select, now, believe it or not, you've seen us use Chapter Select before. Me and Lloyd actually have played through, and we're going to be playing through Chapter 3 times. Our first time was during my main continuation, but we used Select Chapter for the second round, which was the round you saw. In it, you can actually go to any one of the previous chapters that you've completed. The only difference between the normal story and Chapter Select is that you cannot save if you shut off the system. You have to complete everything in one go. Progress won't be saved. However, if you beat the entire game, you unlock an option that can only be viewed in the Chapter Select, and that is the first thing we're talking about. This is the archives. You know you can say some stuff.
Well,
You know you can say some stuff.
okay, it's, here are the archives, which is basically some kind of extras thing, museum of scrap things of the game and some extra information.
I like to call it a dev room.
Oh, right, that's cool.
Fun fact, this is actually the place where we fought Brute Boris in Chapter 4.
Oh, I just realized that.
Yeah, and this is actually where the jet machine is. The archives is pretty much a trivia room. It is a bunch of previously seen models throughout the game's lifespan, with detailed blurbs on either neat trivia facts, fun facts about the character, what they were originally called, and just some neat little tidbits. You have models of, I think, everything in the game except for the giant hand in Chapter 5. With there being blurbs for the Ink Machine, all of the stages of Bendy, including the unseen one, which is called Concept Bendy, both of the Searchers, both of the Sammys, the Butcher Gang, and every incarnation of Boris except for Tom. In addition to this, you also have models of the Lost One, both versions of Alice, and, like previously mentioned, Tom. And you also have a little blurb for the Ink Machine. Also, there's Bertram Piedmont's disembodied head. Yay! In addition to this, you also have a blurb that is sort of like a memo from the Bendy and the Ink Machine team that sort of, it's like an overview of the game. And we also have a sign detailing Henry Stein, which is his last name. So rather than reading off everything, I'm going to go through a quick slideshow of every item, and I'm going to give a brief analysis, and Lloyd's going to tell me what he thinks using all of his 5 words. Is that alright? Good. Before Bendy actually made it to the video game, Bendy and the Machine came out, this was the original concept of Bendy. Lloyd?
Do I read it?
No. Just give me a brief analysis of what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Or
It's
just give us
basically
your thoughts.
okay. I remember that people leaked the texture of this Bendy and people were thinking that it was the Henry model or something. And yeah, that was weird. But I honestly think I'm honestly glad they replaced it because this one looks dope. I don't know.
A few things I want to note is that this one doesn't seem to have a mouth. I also want to point out that this hand looks pretty identical to the one we see in Chapter 5.
Yep.
So yeah, anyway, moving on, we've got Alpha Bendy. This one actually made it into the update, but I believe it didn't last long. I think... Was it just the one for until Chapter 3?
No, it was only the first version of Chapter 1.
That's why okay.
When Chapter 2 was released, they replaced it.
Yep. That's right. It was only for the first chapter when it was initially released back in February 2017. And you want to know how you can know this? Because it doesn't have anything but the torso and the head. It's also lacking the signature gloves and bow tie. Funnily enough, though, I believe the face, you can see the face on a lot of art in the game.
Yep.
So, yeah. Bird poop with a smile. Moving on to Beta Bendy. Like the sign says, this was the version of Bendy for chapters 2 and 3 before chapter 4 overhauled it. So when chapter 3 first came out, this was the form that was stalking you. It looks really... I don't know. I like this one a lot more than the actual one that we see in the main game. Because I just think the way it's perfectly standing up and the way it limped made it look a lot more difficult. It also has, as Game Theory pointed out, it's got one of its feet twisted in backwards. Lloyd?
Okay, so you can see like he's moving. I mean, like I don't know. It's you can see him moving. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't remember it doing that in chapter 2 or chapter 3. That's weird. And I honestly think the chapter 4 version was better, but
He absolutely is moving. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm not sure if that's just the light or... Huh. Moving on to the Ink Bendy, this is the final version of Bendy. There's not a whole lot wrong with him that separates between the two of them, other than the fact that this one, the aura that it has is actually on it. aka, whenever you enter the room, everything goes, like, inky and stuff. This is not present on this one. It's actually bolted on, but this one it's actually moving, as you can see by its glove, how it's moving on.
Yeah, and his face is like some slightly 3D. The ink in his face, like the one that covers his eyes, if he even has eyes, is 3D, and you can actually see that the texture, his original texture behind that ink is black. So I don't know if no, never mind.
One of the things that I liked about this design, and this isn't present on this design as well, the face really does look drawn on.
Yep.
Which I think is really neat. Anyway, moving on to the Bendy that I never died to, despite fearing I would die to it like 3 times. Instead, the only guy I actually died to was Sammy and the Searcher Army. Beast Bendy, which was, I want to say, the most redundant Bendy.
Yep.
I'll send you my thoughts on Chapter 5 at the end of the video, but really the only thing that's different is that it's pretty much DA Games is Brothers in Arms Bendy,
Yep.
but it has feet. I'm struggling to think of any other way to call it that, but that's literally what it is. That it is literally DA Games' version of Bendy in that song, but it has feet.
I don't know. I feel like this Bendy is very weird. It doesn't fit the
I feel
style
like
at all.
I feel like this version of Bendy was created really late in the game by the dev team because they weren't sure how to end it because everything was boiling up so high.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on to the Searchers. I really didn't give these guys very much love outside of Chapter 2 and 5, and both were in brief mentions of them. As you can very plainly see from the two Searcher models, this one is shorter and it's a lot more straightened up. This one crawls and it's lurching. It looks like it's lurching in pain.
Yeah, and that's the point. So I really like the final search.
It also has SCP-96's jaw. Like that sucker can extend. So yeah.
Yep.
And ironically enough, the blurb for this one says they were given a more human appearance, yet this one looks a lot more human.
Yeah.
Moving on to a character that is extremely popular, I think the most popular character outside of the Ink crew, but I don't know why. Sammy Lawrence.
Okay.
He's an old man with a mask. That's all I can see. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, at least this guy looks like he's made out of black rocks. This guy just looks sad. And yet, until I believe it was chapter 4.
Yeah.
Until chapter 4, this is what he looked like. Also, another difference between both of them is that when this guy was the Sammy Lawrence in-game, his speech at the end of chapter 2 is way less stagnant. He just stands there, whereas this one actually does stuff. It's also worth noting he has Sammy Lawrence's axe, or I like to call him Sammy's axe. Anyway, moving on from blurbs, should we do the Butcher Gang or Boris?
I don't know.
Huh?
The Boris.
Alright. Like,
Papa.
Beta Bendy, like bird poop with a smile over there. This was the original version of Boris, although it wasn't known as Boris, but rather Papa. I really would not like to see what Mama looks like.
Okay. No.
And that's about all I can really say for that, because that'll only bring me tattletale memories.
Oh yeah.
Let the fan
Okay, you
fix
can
begin.
see that his chest is really weird and it's kind of detailed.
Yeah, plus
So,
he's got like these weird robotic gloves. He looks like a mad scientist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun fact,
fat.
Papa was actually Dr. Eggman the whole time.
Oh.
I mean, look at those shoes. It looks like him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Boris the Wolf, or as he's rapidly been gaining traction because of his identity, Buddy Boris. I hate that name, never will like it. Unlike Bendy, Boris actually really didn't get a whole lot of redesigning, other than this guy over here. However, he did get a lot of an animation overhaul across the game. His animations did become a lot smoother as we progressed through the game. So yeah, Brute Boris, Frankenstein. Moving on to the Ink Machine. The Ink Machine, the titular Ink Machine, is original design. Actually it didn't require a shaft, surprisingly enough, that led down to the Ink Factory. By the way, I'm calling that final area in Chapter 5 the Ink Factory, because that's totally what it is. As you can see from how it's built, a lot of the ideas behind the original Ink Machine translated into the final one, which I don't think we can see other than this logo at the very top, which a lot of people seem to miss.
Okay, so okay. There's a thing here, and many people say like this is the model of the Ink Machine in the post-credit scene, but it's really not. There's a reason why.
The tray that creates ink is not that short. I believe there's a couple more gears on it. Plus, of course, it's a hell of a lot bigger and has chains on it. Anyway, moving on. we have the Butcher Gang. These guys are unique. Not only did they recently make their appearance in Boris and the Dark Survival, where they are by far and away the most annoying enemy in the game to fight, these guys are special because unlike everyone else, these guys actually were translated into their monster forms and then reworked back into their cartoon forms. These are the original versions of them. And unlike any of the other characters, aside from poor Bertram Piedmont, they never actually got any reworking.
I think they are perfect. I mean,
yeah, they really are.
So twisted.
They really are.
They really look like straight from a horror game.
It's almost like they're in a horror game.
Oh, right. I don't know.
Moving on to these guys. I don't know. Other than the fact that they're the best runners in Boris and the Dark Survival. Like, seriously. They're fun to run around with. I never understood the concept behind them.
It's weird. It's just like...
It's really weird.
It's really lazy because...
it feels really lazy.
It's just like something of a worker, and that's it. Basically, a worker trapped in the studio.
Yeah, it's also one of those things, because even though this game is a horror game, there should be no way the story could reasonably explain just how many of them there are. And they can't all be employees. In all honesty, I feel like these are actually soldiers created by the Ink Machine to defend it, rather than civilians.
Yeah, that could be true.
Yeah.
Oh crap, wait.
What?
Wait, I'm gonna rejoin.
Oh, okay. Moving on to... I don't know how to talk about these two, because it's yin and yang. One's evil, one's good. We've heard one, haven't heard the other. I mean, we have heard her, but not her, any of her audio logs. She doesn't have any. As you guys probably already know, we have Alice Angel and Allison Angel. Allison Angel being named after Alison Pendle in the game's files. And this one is pretty obviously Susie Campbell, who we've heard from a lot. The argument that everyone has is, the more evil you are, the more imperfect your copy is. Yet, Susie looks a lot closer to Alice Angel than she does.
Yeah.
I can understand why, because she's pretty much like a battle-hardened war veteran stuff. With a sword that, fun fact, does 4 damage and is as strong as the axe you get in the game. But that whole logic that good souls become good copies kind of feels off here. There's not that much I have to say about them. One was annoying, but played a much bigger role than this one, other than one fight sequence.
Okay, it will be... I think it will be cool if Tom and Allison like actually helped you in some things, and yeah, you know.
In all actuality, I feel like that side quest mission that was teased in Chapter 5 actually should have happened. Anyway, this guy, Mecha Boris, as Matt Pat calls him, but Tom by the game's files, and by Allison, the most badass character in the game?
Yep.
Like, is there even a competition there?
Oh.
Anyway, do you want to talk about Bertram Piedmont?
It's a hit.
Yep, that's about it. And that's about it for the, archives. It's a very interesting room, with the last achievement, chronologically speaking, you can get in the game, Standing Proud, which you get by standing on your own pedestal. It's one of my personal favorite achievements, just because of how dumb it is.
That's genius.
Yeah, it really is. Anyway, now that we're done with that, we are going to teleport over to Chapter 3 because we have a lot of extras in Chapter 3 to pick up. Let's see. Let's see you there. Before we actually cut over to something, I want to go ahead and explain a mechanic that I think it's a weird place to put it. So, if you guys remember, in Chapter 5, after we beat it, we unlocked more than just the archives. We have unlocked the ability to use what is called the seeing tool in this game, but I think the only appropriate name of this is the looking glass. In Chapter 5, you know that the looking glass, as we have here, was capable of producing hidden messages. Well, if you go back through the game, as it turns out, Chapter 5 is not the only place where we can find the looking glass images. And yes, it appears, from the game's perspective, that Henry is in some sort of loop. And that loop is either going to be resolved or it's going to get worse with the release of not Chapter 6, Bendy and the Dark Revival, which is a game that's releasing sometime in the next year and is currently on my top priority of, if this comes out, everything gets dropped in preparation for it. You also have the collage from Boris and the Dark Survival. And this guy. So, yeah, if you look out at all of this, glowing images, the glowing flame embers just point out messages. And it's believed that Henry is the one writing this from previous loops. Because the looking glass is able to call out a lot of specific events as they happen. And this is most prominent in Chapter 1, but I do not want to rob you guys of all of the secrets in this game, which is why we're really not going to be covering the meat of the secrets. So I'm going to leave Chapter 1's secret messages hidden, and I'm going to have you guys look them up. Now, on to very late in Chapter 3.
I'm not getting out of here that easy. Need to open the door, but the lever's missing. Boris probably has it.
Let's do this. So, before we leave the safe house, while we wait, I am actually going to show off a neat little Easter egg here. Also, keep in mind we do have to go back to Chapter 1 to show off two mechanics that I didn't actually explore in depth.
Here you go.
And I promised I would a lot. Before we leave, Lloyd, can you explain the bone?
Bone. Yep.
Remember,
You give it to Boris and that's it.
remember when I told you that there were some objects in this game that did not glow that you could interact with? Well, this is probably the most prominent example of that. The bone at your starting point in the safe room can be collected and can be given to Boris. Once you do this, and I believe it's either when you give it to him or completing the achievement, will get you, completing the chapter will unlock you the achievement called Knick Knack Paddywhack. Give that dog a bone. Anyway, now that we're done with that, let us say hello to the good old gent flashlight.
Really dark up ahead. Let's find some light.
The most forgettable item in the game.
Actually, I think that honor goes to the ink syringe.
Oh,
At least we use the ink syringe. It's either the ink syringe or the pipe wrench, because we never use either of them again after this.
Don't be scared, Boris.
True.
I'll keep the light near you so you don't get lost.
At least this one's in 2 chapters. The other one isn't even seen past this point. Also, you can do that.
Okay, actually,
I think I forgot Boris. Yes, I did.
Yep.
Alright, I'll see you when we get out of the dark tunnel. I don't think you actually introduced yourself.
To Boris?
No. I don't think you actually introduced the viewers who you were.
Oh, no, I didn't. Epic.
Guys, meet Lloyd if you didn't know.
Okay, yeah, I forgot to introduce myself.
Anyway.
I'm Lloyd, the other guy of Chapter 3.
Yep. Introducing The single most important room in the game
Wow.
right now.
I don't remember any of this.
Nice music.
It is really nice music. I have been waiting eons to say this. Punching in.
Punching in.
Alright,
That
now
was perfect.
I am going to go ahead and point out two things that are going to be important. The first is this wall.
Why is there always something blocking the door? Gotta be a way through.
The second is this bendy thing. Way back when I did chapter 3 the first time with Lloyd, I pointed out that that is very, very important. I'm going to be showing you guys how to get something that I'll be showing off relatively quick fashion unless I die. And if I die, oh, hell's gonna break loose. But we are going to want to change this to the ink machine. I'm not going to tell you why, but I'm going to inform you that turning it into the ink machine is very worth your time if you intend to do a specific set of instructions and
Always on
aren't
time.
good at dying.
Okay, so that thing of the Bendy ink blushy thing, it's also a thing in Boris on the Dark Survival, and it's weird, but it's a thing.
So, yeah. Gosh, I'm
Sorry if
already
I
so
sound
nervous.
sick.
Anyway, I'll see you guys at the next big point of contention.
Okay,
The single, solitary choice. Bendy in the
okay,
ink
so
machine.
now we have to choose one in specific to surprise, and
Now,
yes.
before you take your pick, it is worth pointing out that there are differences in these modes. Last time we took the angel route. Today we are going to the demon route. Now, gameplay wise, stuff happens, but the story remains the same. Nothing happens outside of, hey, you pick this, and you'll get different achievements if you do this. However, Bendy spawns more often on the path of the demon than on the path of the angel. The reason why I picked Path of the Angel both was to save the Path of the Demon for when we were completing the extras mode. Yes, I plan ahead. And because I really didn't want to have to deal with Uber Bendy.
And also a tape, which is coming up.
Yep.
Here it
Ladies
is.
and gentlemen, I'll be getting that audio log later, but that is audio log number 30 of 31, and it is the only audio log that we straight up could not obtain in the main story. We will be going to that audio log, and then we will be collecting the 31st and final audio log in the game. For now, though, let's head over to the sanctum of Alice the Nubberson Angel. See you guys in a minute. Another way to piss off Lloyd. When we went through the first time, we found this station, and both me and Lloyd played it off as just us going insane. However, both me and Lloyd know better. This is actually the hallway from the Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 3 reveal trailer. I believe it was the reveal trailer. Only the door is off its hinges, as you can see. Also, if you get close to it, you can hear screams of the damned.
I honestly think the trailer was something canon. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe it's how one of his loops ended.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving
That
on.
would be cool.
We're now heading to the sanctum. Sorry for cutting abruptly, but I actually forgot about this part and I wanted to show it off.
Now we come
Blah,
to
blah,
the
blah.
question. Do I kill you? Do I tear you apart to my heart's stone?
No!
Better yet, I'll even let you ascend and leave this
You gotta
place.
wonder, how with that much machinery, she has not accidentally lost a hand.
Favors for me first. Return to the
Because
lift, my little errand boy.
she,
Work to do.
because she decided to accidentally stick her hand in. And that brings up another interesting question. If she stuck her hand in it, would her arm just disintegrate?
Okay, wait, hold up.
Alright. One of the biggest tellings as to the identity of who Alice Angel is, if you come to this point with the seeing tool, and you look at this coffin, there,
Susie.
right in front of us, lies the body of Susie Campbell. And this isn't the only time you can find a coffin with a name on it. I believe there is a coffin with every character's name on it, with the exception of Joey Drew, Henry, Allison, Thomas Connor, Wally Franks, and Jack Fane. Not Jack Fane, Sean Flynn.
I think also Jack.
No, I don't think Jack has a coffin. I know for a fact Grant has one, but I don't think Jack has one. Anyway,
My machines are hungry. Gather me some spare parts.
anyway, for it, while we're seeing some pipe wrench love. Anyway, each of the coffins is a person that you fight across the game. And
There are so few.
for God's sake, shut up! As I was saying before I was interrupted by a legitimate ink angel that's gone off the deep end. My theory is that every coffin you find is an enemy. And everyone without a coffin, with the exception of Jack Fane, which is why I think Lloyd actually might be right. Not Jack Fane, Sean Flynn. I don't know why I'm getting the two mixed up. All of the people that lack coffins have one of two things in common. One, at the final room of Chapter 5, the apartment, they actually have letters. Wally, Allison, who by that point is married Thomas Connor, they all have letters. And the other two people who don't have names, Henry and Joey, are the only two characters that we can confirm are at least partially human. The rest are all enemies, and I'm not going to go into a detail about who is who. All I'm going to say is, boy, let's hope RNG doesn't screw us over, because we need to get lucky here. What number did she say? Level K. Anyway, I'm going to cut to either when we inevitably die through some accidental doofussery, or when we get to the projectionist part. That is how far we need to go. So guys, this is actually an alternate view of our very first encounter with Bendy in Chapter 3. And he didn't show up. Damn it. So, we have cut outside of something small that you'll have to watch, Lloyd, if you want to see what I did.
What?
You guys understand. We're cut to the final
work unfinished.
thing.
Fortunately, I have you to pick up the pieces. But you'll have to go even deeper. Down, down, down into the abyss. Take the lift down. Say hello to an old friend. Sending you a little present. A little firepower. Take good care of it. It belonged to someone very special.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You did it.
meet the Tommy gun.
Perfect.
The Tommy gun is one of only 2 ranged weapons in the entire game. The other one being the bacon soup can. And it is by far and away the better of them. Aiming works a lot differently. It'll aim at the center of the screen, not where this crosshair is, and the only way to reload is by running the thing out of bullets.
And I actually think this weapon should have been used more in the game.
In order
Rather
to
than just
unlock,
secret.
in order to unlock this weapon, you have to go through chapter 3, turn that blob into the ink machine, go the path of the demon, and then complete the entire thing up to this point without dying. Dying will cause you to lose out on this. Me and Lloyd know it from experience. This thing, believe it or not, on a per damage basis, this thing is actually not as strong as the axe. The axe is still more damage. However, what gives this thing the ability to be a much better weapon than the axe is the fact that it's a gun. Every
Each
one of
bullet
those bullets
making
is
more
3 damage. It is capable of killing almost everything down here, with the solely justified exception of one certain ink demon who still cannot be killed.
Better get overtime for this.
He is the only character that cannot be harmed by it. Every other enemy will go down in, I believe, 1 or 2 hits. And the projectionist will go down in, I believe, 1 full round of it. And suddenly the projectionist, which we are going to kill this time, is made into an absolute joke.
Yep.
So, let's drop down to level 4. And we're actually going to be running with the Tommy gun for the rest of chapter 3. Because as long as you do not go back to Alice Angel's abode, you should be fine. Now, this room. This room right here is the second most important room in chapter 3. Because it actually has the ability to give us the final audio log of the game. Audio log number 31.
There he is, the projectionist, skulking in the darkness. You be sure to stay out of his light. Just bring me back.
And he's dead. Just like that.
You guys remember how threatening he was in our first run through? Yeah, me neither. When you do this for the first time, Norman can be killed either with, I believe it's 72 hits from the gent pipe, 10 hits from the axe, or 1 full round from the Tommy gun. Now, moving on to this point. If you go over here,
It's really cool to just
it
shoot
really feels satisfying to just do that.
Yep.
Going over to this valve. It's another one of those objects that that does not glow that you can interact with. This will actually unlock something in the one place I have not taken you guys. The stairwell. We have not been in the stairwell at all. We've only taken the elevator. And for good reason, because the stairwell is terrifying. Also, if you kill Norman Polk, the first time you do it, you'll be granted the achievement called Norman's Fate, which basically all but confirms that Norman Polk is, in fact, the projectionist. Anyway, now that we're done with that, I am going to cut to when we are outside, and then I am going to show off the 30th and 31st audio logs in the game. And the way I did this, which I am legitimately proud of, it's kind of a coincidence that these are the last 2 audio logs in the game. Actually, Alessandro, you're going to have to wait. Now that we have shown off everything else, it doesn't matter if we die or not. The only reason why I was nervous going into this was because I would have to complete everything on hard mode in one go, which I did. And despite a brief jump scare, remember the fighting bit?
Yeah.
Where you had to fight all the monsters? Fisher got on top of the box with me and scared the crap out of me.
Oh.
Yeah, he still couldn't hit me, but he definitely scared me. Anyway, now that we have gone from one point to another, let us show off audio log number 30 and 31. First, audio log number 30. Only accessible if you take the demon route. Magic! Making our way through the block with a Glock. You ink boy's gonna get shot.
And there's the tape.
Audio log number 30.
There's nothing wrong with dreaming. Wishing for the impossible is just human nature. That's how I got started. Just a pencil and a dream. We all want everything, without even having to lift a finger. They say you just have to believe. Belief can make you succeed. Belief can make you rich. Belief can make you powerful. Why, with enough belief, you can even cheat death itself. Now that is a beautiful and positively silly thought.
Audio log number 30 is nothing more than the man himself, Joey Drew. If you take the path of the demon, that will be Joey Drew's first audio log in the main game.
If not, then chapter 4.
If not, chapter 4 will be the first time you hear him. Depending on which route you pick, you are either going to hear a boisterous, pompous man telling you to believe, or a person who does not care about any of that, and the only reason why he is doing what he's doing is to make money. Depending on which route you take, your perception of Joey Drew is going to be a lot more different. Now,
Yes.
instead of taking the elevator, for the first time ever, let's go down the stairs.
And here we're going to get the other step. Oh wait, it's lagging.
I hope you guys can understand why I never took the stairs. It's just a waste of time, in my opinion. Anyway.
And also Bendy has more
Yeah,
chance of
Bendy can
spawning.
spawn on, I believe, all but one of these floors. He is active on there. Anyway.
I think there's an ink machine like around here in the stairs.
Right
Yeah,
there. There's a second ink machine right there.
I don't think that makes sense, but okay. It's there.
Yeah, it's there. And there it is! If you
The-
approach this without that valve being caught, this will be flooded. If you have collected that, then you're good. The 31st and final audio log of the game. And for all the hell that we go through, I believe this could not be a more fitting finale.
Only 2 weeks into this company, and already it's gotten interesting. Joey is a man of ideas. And only ideas. When I agreed to start this whole thing with him, I thought there'd be a little more give and take. Instead, I give, and he takes. I haven't even seen Linda for days now. Still, someone has to make this happen. When in doubt, just keep drawing, Henry. On the plus side, I've got a new character I think people are gonna love.
Henry.
It is the only truly secret audio log in the game.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is that Bendy here?
Alright, time to wait 30 minutes while Bendy clears himself out.
Want to try
Actually, you
that?
know what? Let's try something. Bendy, come here. I've actually never shown this. Where is he? Where's the sumbitch?
Oh, it's...
Ladies and gentlemen, I have not actually shown this off yet. What happens when you die?
What happens when you die?
Come here, Bendy.
Force him.
Where is he? Come here.
Where?
How high up are you? There he is, guys! I cut out both of these sequences when it happened. Let's find out, because I'm actually not sure that if you die, you lose the Tommy gun. Let's find out.
Great.
Nope, turns out you don't. Anyway, now that we have successfully gotten our head caved in, let's take the elevator back down. I will see you guys when we get there. And as we make our way back down for one final time.
Another day, another dollar.
Punching in. And with that, I will see you all when back at the title screen or back at chapter 1, whichever comes first.
Have you ever wondered what heaven is like? I like to dream that it's quite beautiful. A soft valley of green grass, blanketed by a warm
Boris.
sun.
Bendy.
I don't think I'll ever get to see it. Are you ready to ascend, my little
Perfect.
errand boy? The heavens are waiting.
What's the thing? Okay. Yep!
Did you really think I let you steal from me? I think I just let you go? No, Henry. I know who you are, and I know why you're here. And you will not stop what needs to be done. Now come down and bring me back my forest! It's the most perfect forest I've ever seen, and I want it! I need it inside, so I can be beautiful again! Don't you understand? Don't you get it? Give him to me! Yes! I'll take him! You're dead!
A nice little
I think I'm
glitch.
pretty dead right
A nice little alternate ending where you escape before the elevator collapses. And we get treated to this.
now. Nice.
Fun fact, we got this ending the first time we did this chapter. And I went and we
Yes.
didn't get it the second time, and then I went back and spent 25 minutes figuring out how to do it again. Just so I could pull that off.
All right, Joey. I'm
Alright.
Alright, we are still not done. Because I want
We
to
are
show off
going to-
2 more collectibles that I never showed off over the course of the game. Let me take you to them both. Something that probably one of my favorite messages in this entire game. Not all dreams come true. So yeah, we are back in chapter 1. And we are going to go.
This lift could use a few dry cells.
And this right here, me and Lloyd have theorized about this not being from Henry. There never was a choice. And those are the only 2 messages I'm actually going to show off. You can find the rest for yourself. Anyway,
Let's see what you're hiding down there, old friend.
let us go to the 2 Easter eggs. The first one everyone knows about. The second one everyone knows about, but I still think it's neat to show them off because I never did over the course of the LP. Also, thinking way back to the part where Lloyd said there wasn't some stuff on it, you'll notice that there wasn't a pipe coming out of it. Lloyd, are you there?
Yep.
Alright, good. Anyway, first one. In a off-camera thing, I've mentioned it many times before, there are some objects in this game that are not glowing that you're interacting with. In this game, there are 5 primary types of collectibles. Bacon soup cans, I believe it is the Voight audio logs, and the other 2 are more secretive. The first one are these radios. There is one in every chapter, and when you turn them on, this is the Bendy and the Ink Machine song by Kyle Allen, a YouTuber. There are 5 radios hidden throughout the game. They're non-interactable and you have to interact with them. Each of them, with the exception of the final one, plays a fan-made Bendy and the Ink Machine song. And you get an achievement for playing each one. Getting all 5 will result in you collecting something called the Gold Record, which is its own achievement. The songs are Bendy and the Ink Machine, the Bendy and the Ink Machine song by Kyle Allen, Build Our Machine by DA Games, Bendy and the Ink Musical by Random Encounters with sung by Matthew Patrick or Game Theory, Can't Be Erased by JT Music, and in Chapter 5, there is a original song titled I'll Be Your Angel, which is sung by Lauren Singer, who I believe is the voice actress for Allison. Not Allison,
Yeah.
Alice. And
Both.
it's also the only one with lyrics. Another fun fact is you actually hear I'll Be Your Angel more than one time per game. In the apartment, as you can see, I've gotten rid of my fear of that board. In the apartment area,
Alright, how do I get this
actually can hear a fully rendered version of the song in Joey Drew's apartment. So,
put this
yeah.
here.
That is...
the full version with lyrics and
God.
everything you can use.
Joey, what
Yep.
were you doing?
You can find the full song on YouTube for free, as with most things
Without-
on YouTube. Anyway,
without the
moving on to the
glitchy thing.
second big thing. Hey, it's that rare pose at the beginning of my project. In reference to the 31st audio log, Henry's only audio log, the phrase "he was born here" combined with the Bendy stuff seems to indicate that Henry was, at least in some way, the creator of Bendy. Which makes the ending of the game a lot more poetic in hindsight, because it's the creator pulling the plug on his own creation. Even though this seems to be Joey Drew's story,
Okay, that's all of them.
Henry is the main character through and through, and the story is about him. Anyway, now that I've done being philosophical, onto the secret. Alright. Like the radios, the final collectible, actually you cannot see it. It is a devilishly handsome fellow.
What the heck is this?
This is I like to call it a dev room, even though I know it's not, but this is a Meatly room. There is, like the gold records, there is one of these in every chapter, and you get an achievement for getting each one, and upon collecting them all, you collect another achievement titled Grand Puppeteer.
And Boris says, yes, he's doing that.
Alright. So yeah, you can find one of those in every point of contention, and that is the last thing I feel the need to go over. Hallelujah! So, now we go on to project thoughts.
Please.
1 second.
Boy.
So, final thoughts on the project. First of all, thank yous. I want to give a thank you to Roy for being a guest on Chapter 2. I've been told by a lot of people, friends and family, that I'll do a lot my better stuff with groups. And hopefully I can change that sometime in the future. In addition to that, I also want to give a quick thanks to Lloyd. Lloyd, what do you have to say for yourself? You're getting an honorable mention for a Let's Play.
Thanks, and, yes, potato.
Alright. Let me go ahead and put these down. There we go. That's it. That's about all I can say. We have looked up everything that I've wanted to show off. We spent an hour going over extras. I told you this was going to be a long video, and a video in the making. And it boggles the mind that even though we only covered the extras alongside one speech in the middle of it, it still went 56 minutes. Probably 57. But yeah, that is everything I want to cover in Bendy and the Ink Machine. I am finally satisfied with this. And I will be until Bendy and the Dark Revival comes out and suddenly this game gets an update. Because the continuity between the two games is wrong, and the Meatley Studios will have to, not the Meatley Studios, Kinley Beast, Joey Drew Studios will have to update the game so that it follows Bendy and the Dark Revival. No, I'm actually not joking. I figure that's going to happen, and if it does, I'll be very sad. Anyway, that is the archives, the looking glass, the Meatley rooms, the radios, the Tommy gun, everything I wanted to cover. I'm not going to cover the two other secret weapons nor the horror visions because those would take a Let's Play to get.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess time for final goodbyes. Lloyd, what do you have to say?
Goodbye, guys. Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am Lava Captain 2000, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!